Beyond Lake Maumelle, the USGS conducts surveys around the state, checking on the health of our waterways.
So you just lay that up.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's
this is part of a national program that we're participating in, and specifically here we're looking at the water quality in Ozark streams, and we're looking at various land uses. Some of our sites are almost all forested in the basins. Some of the sites are in basins where we've got more agriculture. So we're looking at the differences in the nutrients and then how that affects the biological communities, whether we're talking about algae that grows in the water or the aquatic insects and fish communities. And having more algae, more nutrients in the water typically grows more algae, which then some of the insects that graze on algae, you get more of those, and more fish that graze on algae. Pretty much all across the country, the two things that have the biggest detrimental effects on streams are sediment and nutrients. And the amount of sediment washing off of roads, for example, and nutrients coming from agriculture, washing off people's lawns, wastewater treatment plants. So it's not something that comes from one source typically. There's a lot of things that people do, and we all live downstream.
This is an instrument that we use to measure several parameters in the field. Those include dissolved oxygen, temperature, pH, which is how basic or acidic a stream is, and also the conductance, which is the mineral content. And we're particularly interested in the dissolved oxygen content of the stream because of the effect dissolved oxygen has on fish and also algae.
We're going to do some basic field parameters to measure the water quality. This right here is called a grab sample because it's basically determined by how much flow you have, how much discharge you have coming through the creek bed here. We'll learn basic constituents like this is like a nutrient enrichment program, so we'll learn about the basic nutrients in the water sample. We'll also learn basic parameters like dissolved oxygen and pH content, conductance, stuff like that.
I'm doing a discharge measurement. Basically, I'm measuring the amount of flow of the water that's going downstream through here at this particular time. We need the discharge data to correlate with our water quality data. If you think about the samples that they collect and have them analyzed, say for nutrients or metals, it tells you how much is in that one bottle, but that only tells you how much is in the bottle. And if you compare how much is in the bottle to how much water is actually going down the river, you get a better idea of how much of these constituents are actually flowing downstream at any given time.
Well, I think the changes that we are seeing at this point in time are fairly subtle. It's not like that we're seeing any, we're not even approaching extinctions or that sort of thing, or even elimination in many cases, but we are seeing, for example, decreases in the abundance of some of the more sensitive species, and we're seeing that shift from more insect-eating fish to more of the algae-eating fish. And I think that's just, that's something that is, something for us to be aware of and consider, and to try to make changes in our practices at early stages. Surprise a number of people is just how unique Ozark streams are. They've got 20 species of fish found only in the Ozarks. It's one of the most diverse areas for fish communities in the whole country. And I think people just don't realize how unique these streams are.